Hi, I'm Kara and welcome to Camp, where college applications are made perfect. In today's video, we are going to be looking at the college essay. As always, there will be links with additional resources as well as other information in the description box below. And in that description box, there are also going to be timestamps to specific topics in this video if you want to skip around and only watch the stuff that is interesting to you specifically. So in today's video, we are going to be breaking down the prompts. We are going to be talking about how to structure the essay. We're going to be talking about what to write about, and we're going to talk about how to find good proofreaders. So let's get right into it. Most schools are going to require an essay. So generally what you'll do is you'll have your main essay and you'll upload it to that kind of essay template that we looked at in the application portal. And then that just means that your essay will be sent to every single school that way. So the most important thing is that your main essay is what every college is going to see. So you want to make it as thought-provoking and attention-grabbing as possible. Let's begin by thinking about the prompts. So how do you choose the best prompt and make sure that you really answer it? One of the most important things to keep in mind as you're writing the college essay is that it gives the reader who reads your essay a sense of who you are as a person, what you've done, and the qualities and characteristics you're going to be bringing to their institution of higher learning. The second thing to remember is not to worry too much about sticking to the prompt. It's there mostly as a jumping off point. This is not a test, so there's no need to restate the prompt or anything like that. It's mainly just a way to get you to start thinking and to kind of have a general outline for your essay. The prompts I most recommend are the ones where you can explore more than a single moment in your life. The essays that really explode the moment or focus on just a single sort of aspect of your character and personality is an issue that I will go into in more detail a little bit later on in this video. The prompt that I personally recommend the most from the Common App is the something that sparked a period of realization and growth in your life, something like that, because it really gives you a lot of room to play around with, but really you should just pick whichever prompt you feel like is going to most accurately help you display your best qualities. The final thing I would definitely keep in mind when you're considering the prompts is if you're applying through two different portals. So if you're applying through like Apply Texas and Common App or anything that has two portals, make sure that you're double checking the prompts against each other. You don't want to write more than one essay. You don't want to put the time that it takes to have a really amazing essay into two separate essays. So an example of a prompt that would not be a good prompt to choose if you're applying through two separate portals would be the Apply Texas ticket prompt. You know, if you had a ticket, you could go anywhere, where would you go? Because there is no counterpart for that on Common App, or, you know, just make sure that you can use your essay on both platforms. Take a quick look at that before you begin really investing time in writing your essay. Now let's take a look at structuring your essay. So my number one tip, the thing I would most recommend you keep in mind, is that you look at the word count. You want to be right at the word count. You physically cannot go over. The application portals won't let you. You don't want to do that. But you also don't want to be way under. If you're way under, that means that you haven't written enough, you haven't pulled in enough strands of your life. The problem here should not be underwriting, it should definitely be overwriting. If you feel like you're underwriting and you're really struggling to hit that word count, just think about different aspects of yourself that you can be pulling into the essay. Again, to compare Common App and Apply Texas, just because those are the two most common portals, although it's not impossible that you would be using a different one. The Common App word count limit is 650 and the Apply Texas word count limit is 700. In that case, again, you just want one essay. I would recommend just hit 650 and that'll be close enough to the 700 word count. If you want to go back and add a little bit more, you can, but 650 in the Apply Texas portal is not going to make or break you. Okay, now into the nitty-gritty. So this essay is not your typical essay you'd write in English class. You have a lot to cover and very little time. So don't worry about something like having a beginning, middle, and end. My only recommendations for that is that you start quickly. So this essay reader is going to be reading a lot of essays. You want to be the essay that grabs their attention and then dives straight into the story. You want them to be, you know, excited to read and not like, oh my gosh, when is she going to get to the point, you know? And at the end of your essay, you want to restate the things you really want to stick in your essay reader's mind. So typically this is going to be, you know, these are the traits about me I'm going to bring to your school. You know, don't make it too obvious that that's what you're doing, but that's the last thing you're going to read and that's what you want to stick in their mind. To use an example from my own essay, the final line of my essay was, I'm ready to become a more open-minded citizen, driven academic, and an individual who lives her life without limits. So make sure your last sentence is something that you really want them to remember. Finally, I would say don't linger too long on a single moment. So I can remember in English class, we learned about exploding the moment, which is where you take sort of a single point in your life and you really delve into it, explore it. Don't do that in this essay. You want to move quickly. You have a lot of things about yourself you want to shove into this story. If you want to use a single moment and then really expand outward and say, it reminded me of when I did this, and then this reminded me of that, and sort of pull it all into the time, that's one thing. But no essay reader wants to read about how the basketball felt in your hands before you made the winning shot. Make sure you keep things moving pretty quickly, and you can cover a lot of ground. You don't need to focus in on a single moment. So the question is, if you're not writing about a single moment, what should you be writing about? So the phrase that really stuck with me that I'm going to pass along now to you, that was so important to me, I wrote it down on a sticky note and stuck it on my monitor so I'd always remember it when I was writing, was pull back the curtain. So don't just give them a play-by-play of your singing career or how you made captain of your team. You really want to give the essay readers a sense of who you are as a person. The question is, but how? And the way to do it is to focus less on the moment and more on your feelings about the moment. So if one of the things you mentioned in your essay is that you failed a test and then how you grew from that, you really want to focus on growth in this essay. You don't really so much want to mention, I failed the essay and then I emailed the teacher and I studied harder. Instead, you want to talk about your disappointment, your shame, then how that turned into resolve, to a commitment to work harder. So you really want to focus on the things that you were feeling and the ways that you changed as a person because of this outside event. So here is the way I would recommend writing your essay. So I would begin by thinking of moments that were really impactful in your life. So they can be achievements, exciting experiences, maybe even losses, just moments that really had an impact on you or that you worked really hard for. And then I would think about how you can connect them. So try to come up with an overarching theme for them. For me, it was initiative. It was starting things myself and creating opportunities. For other people, it might be growth or compassion for others. If you really want to go above and beyond, you can write a few short paragraphs for each of those things, just a short paragraph, and then try to pull out the strands. Try to see if you can see how they fit. That'll be easier for writing your essay because then you already have most of the general ideas of each of these things. You just have to really work on weaving them together into a complete essay. You really want to find that overarching theme. And then once you kind of have that and you have the experiences you want to use, that's when you begin to really pull back the curtain. So like, I learned X from Y, by doing this, I became this, I was more dedicated and grew through Z. That's when you really want to give the impression of the theme and the experiences, and here is the person that they made me into, and here is the college student who you would be giving admission to come to your school. Once you have your essay written, the bare bones kind of laid out, your first draft, you are going to choose a proofreader. So the most important thing about picking a proofreader is that you pick a lot of them. Get your friends to edit your essay, get your parents to edit your essay, get your teachers to edit your essay. You can never have enough pairs of eyes on your essay. And that is because every single person who reads your essay is going to be bringing with them their own experiences, their own knowledge, and most importantly, their own vision of you. And you can try and really think about how they see you, how you're portraying yourself, and all the experience and the knowledge that all those different people is going to bring is going to make your essay so invaluable because it's really going to make it more well-rounded, the more pairs of eyes that you can get on it. Next, do not be afraid to edit. Don't be afraid of removing huge sections, just taking them out, or of completely rewording sentences or things like that. Never be in love with your first draft. It's never going to be the best essay that you can have. Next, make sure the feedback that you get is detailed. So if you're told that a sentence doesn't work, make sure you ask why. Make sure you really understand what keeps the sentence from flowing, and then read through your whole essay for other instances of it. The more detailed the feedback you get, the better you can use that feedback to make your entire essay a better piece of writing. Proofreading should take about a month. It should take that long because remember, like we discussed at the very beginning of the proofreading section, you want to be sending it to as many people as possible, and getting feedback from that many people is going to take a while, but that's okay. Make sure you write your essay early enough that you have that kind of wiggle room, you have that kind of space. You can be going back after every round of feedback and editing. Remember, writing a great essay is going to take a little bit of time. Be patient with yourself. Give yourself that time. Really make sure you think through every part of the essay. The essay is generally the thing that people think about last when considering college applications. It's not the most glamorous part, but it is essential in differentiating an okay application from a great one. Just as a reminder, there are links to additional resources in the description box below. Don't forget to pull back the curtain. And as always, thank you guys so much for coming to camp.